Hello and welcome to the All Things Geek podcast. I'm your host, Leighton, and I'm joined by myself today. There isn't a reason for this. We haven't fell out or anything like that. I just wanted to clear some things up and talk about the new Obi Wan trailer that I am incredibly excited for. Since Obi Wan is my favourite Star Wars character, followed by General Grievous. First things first, we are still trying to figure out what stuff out about the podcast and whatnot, and I think that's a natural thing for new podcasters to experience. But I will just say, when it comes to episodes dedicated to Doctor Who, if there's a new episode or I've got a guest on that is mainly known for Doctor Who, I will most likely be the only host on that episode, just because I'm incredibly passionate about the show. I don't think Tyler has seen anything for it. I know he's not a fan, so that would be the case. It would be a bit pointless having him on, for example, if all I'm going to be talking about is the newest episode of Doctor Who and how the 13th Doctor has just fought a Sea Devil. He's not really going to know what that is. So, yeah, that's that. And we're looking at possibly half an hour for the episodes. If it feels right, we'll go longer. If it doesn't, we'll try and keep within that time space, but do you know what I mean? So like I say, we are still trying to figure out our footing in the podcast game and whatnot. So yeah, I also need to mention I've been trying to clear up audio for these episodes and stuff, so hopefully it sounds alright. But anyway, jumping into today's podcast, I just want to say that I went to the cinema today and I saw The Batman once again and loved it just as much, or probably more so the second time around, which is some sort of feat, I guess. And I went with my cousin. I'm not going to name him here, but he's not a comic book fan. He doesn't watch Marvel movies. He kind of was taken back by how many MCU movies there are, but he has went to the cinema with me to watch The Joker, which he absolutely loved, and The Suicide Squad. Again, he really liked that. But this film, The Batman, he came out and said that he didn't want it to end. Now, as someone who isn't a comic book fan or doesn't read comic books or watch comic book movies, that should tell you quite a lot, to be fair, about the quality of the film. And yeah, he's not a Batman fan or anything like that. He did love the Joker, but yeah, he was really into it, and it was really nice to see, in all honesty, considering that I thought he was gonna not like it to the extent that I did, or he might have been a bit put off by the runtime of the film. But no, that was quite nice to hear, in all honesty, and we had a good time and stuff, even though I had to step out at one point because my coughing was atrocious. So yeah, and then I came home to discover that I had a figure in the post that arrived, and it was the Fortnite Victory Royale Ripley figure. Now I know when people hear Fortnite, they're like, oh god, Fortnite, god, worst thing ever. But the character designs are ridiculously good, and the game is a lot of fun. I'm gonna try and defend the game here. I think the game's just had a lot of stigma over the years, especially with the cringy kids and stuff, as a lot of popular things tend to do. But yeah, Hasbro have brought out this line and it's incredibly good. I will say that Ripley was one of the figures that I was looking forward to the most out of the standard figures. But yeah, if you don't know what Ripley looks like, I'd strongly recommend Google searching him. But he's like this sort of water-based character in this sort of jumpsuit. And yeah, he's very, very fun. Comes with a shotgun. He's got a hammer, which is his harvesting tool, and then he comes with a bit of back bling. But yeah, the figure's sculpt and everything, the articulation is all top notch. The plastic quality feels really, really good, and I feel like that's because the Fortnite line from Hasbro has a lot of budget at the minute. So yeah, that's just me rambling on about the new toy that I've got, and whatnot. I haven't bought any new Legends today or the past few days. I am trying to cut down just a little bit. But yeah, Ripley is incredibly fun, and if you're iffing and ahhing about trying this line out from Hasbro, I strongly recommend it. The figures are ridiculously good. I mean, I only have the 2, but nevertheless. So, something big has dropped in the last few days, or yesterday I should say. Something that I have wanted to see for a very, very long time, and it is the Obi Wan Kenobi trailer. This blew me away, and yeah, Obi Wan is my favourite character out of Star Wars. I absolutely love him. He was my childhood hero. I grew up during the prequels, so he was the character that I gravitated to the most. And I mean, I absolutely love Episode 3. It's like my top film with Empire. It depends on the day. Some days I prefer Episode 3, some days I prefer Empire, which might sound a bit wild if you don't like the prequels, but I've always loved that film, even from a younger age. And General Grievous is my second favourite Star Wars character. So when the Twitter page came up and said hello there as their first tweet, I thought, this is it, this is going to happen. And then we got the Entertainment Weekly poster, and then the trailer dropped, which looks incredible. I can't lie, I've got it on my screen right now. I'm going to play it very, very slowly for myself, just so I can talk things over and whatnot, and hopefully I haven't got sound on for that. I don't appear to have anything on for it, which is good. But, so, visually, from the visuals, like cinematography and the direction, it looks incredible, as well as Ewan as Obi-Wan. I love his portrayal of Obi-Wan. I much prefer him to Alec Guinness. Kinda. They're both great in their own respects. This is just the Obi-Wan I grew up with, so naturally I'm going to have more of a soft spot for him. But in the trailer, we see what Obi-Wan's kind of been doing. He's on Tatooine, he's trying to stay hidden. We see young Luke, which I didn't think we were going to see in the trailer, which was quite nice. And then Duel of the Fates play, and I lost my shit. One of my favourite Star Wars tracks, and by far one of the most popular and most recognisable tracks from the Star Wars music tracks and stuff. Yeah, love that song. That piece of music, I should say. But before then, we hear Anakin's Dark Deed, sort of, which is another bit of music that I absolutely love. And yeah, it jumps straight in. We don't see Vader throughout the trailer, which I expected, which isn't a big thing for me. We hear him at the end. But yeah, everything else looks really, really good. But there is some issues, and it comes in the form of the Inquisitors and how they look. Now, by no means am I a fan of Star Wars Rebels. I didn't enjoy that show. I was never a fan. I never really cared for it. And yeah, I much preferred the Clone Wars. That, again, it's kind of a thing where I grew up with something, and that's the thing I prefer. So the Clone Wars was by far my favourite out of the two. I know you shouldn't compare, but it's inevitable. So the Grand Inquisitor, wow, he looks pretty rough. Now, it is an issue where the animation is a certain style and you're translating that into live action, and it doesn't quite work. But this is just completely off, in all honesty. He just doesn't look anything like his animation counterpart. I know it's kind of hard to get to that because the animation counterpart was so thin and lean, whereas this guy is a bit bigger and chunkier. No disrespect to anyone. I am a chubby person myself. But he just doesn't scream like the Grand Inquisitor to me. If Tyler was on, he definitely would be ranting about this right now. And stuff, because he wasn't happy with how he looked and stuff. And we do get a glimpse at the fifth brother, I think it is, in the in the trailer, and he looks a little bit better, but it's kind of one of them things where we only see it sort of in like stills. We don't see him in motion or anything like that, so maybe it'll look better when the actual show comes out, who knows. But I know fine well the Grand Inquisitor, or the Inquisitors themselves, has been one of the major backlashes from the trailer. Everything else is getting praised. Those are the only two things that I've seen have negative sort of thoughts on. And the new Inquisitor that we're getting, who is she's going to be like one of the villains in the show. Yeah, you're just going to get that whenever you get like a female lead in a show, and you're always going to get arseholes who, yeah, don't like that sort of stuff. Nevertheless, that's just me rambling about internet idiots and, you know, people who have issues with stuff that really shouldn't be an issue, but that's just the world we live in. Not to get political or anything, or, you know, whatever, topical on that sort of stuff. So I do apologise for that. So supposedly we are seeing Hayden as Vader in this show, which I'm very excited for. He was Anakin again when I grew up and stuff. I know people are very iffy about that character or the way he acted in the prequels. Don't get me wrong, I get a chuckle out of how he delivers lines in episode 3 near the end, but apparently we're going to see a very powerful Vader in the show. And I can't wait for that, because it's very early on. He's going to be incredibly angry, and yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that. So, is there anything else? Oh yeah, things that I'd like to see in the show. Qui-Gon. I would love to see Qui-Gon Jinn back. Liam Neeson reprising his role as the Jedi Knight. Qui-Gon Jinn as a Force Ghost. I think that could explain some things of who Obi Wan is talking to, especially at the start of the trailer. The start of the trailer where he's talking about we lost and stuff. I would love that. He definitely could be a character that is throughout the entire thing, kind of edging Obi-Wan not to give up and stuff. And that could be incredibly exciting to see. In terms of other cameos, I would love to see Commander Cody. Commander Cody was a favourite of mine as a kid as well. I always loved him as that sort of clone. I would be very, very excited to see him back, but who knows, maybe save him for Bad Batch Season 2, where we could have Rex face off against Cody or something like that, which would be very, very sad to see, since I personally consider those two to be very, very good friends and stuff. Any other characters that I can think of? I don't think there's many other characters that I could think of. You can't really do anything with Maul, really, because it defeats what Rebels did. That's one of the things that that episode of Rebels is good, don't get me wrong, but I kind of resent it because we can't have that in this, which is a real shame. But it is what it is, whatever. We could see Ahsoka maybe, but I don't know if I would want to see Ahsoka in this, just because we've had so much of her, and I do love that character and all, but she doesn't really necessarily need to be in this, do you know what I mean, and stuff. It just kind of feels like at that point she's been in the Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, so it's kind of like, oh, we'll just put her in everything, which lessens her, it massively lessens her when she does appear. But yeah, I don't know what else, in all honesty. I don't think there's much else 6 episodes long. I can't remember the length of them. I think they're an hour or something like that. So it is meant to be like 2 movies or something like that as a TV show, which I'm completely fine with. I think I much prefer the sort of format that they've got with the TV shows where it's once a week instead of what Netflix does where they put it all out. But that's not to say I wouldn't have loved it as a movie. Yeah, either way, just more Obi Wan for me, please. And yeah, I'm clearly not the only one. I definitely think we're gonna see possibly the darkest Star Wars show up to date and just darkest Star Wars thing since Revenge of the Sith. The Jedi have fallen, as we all know. The Sith, or the Empire, is rising up, and the Sith are kind of at the height of their power. Well, mainly Palpatine. The galaxy's in a terrible place at the moment. And yeah, apart from that, we have just gotten some new footage for Moon Knight, which we haven't really talked about, but I'm looking forward to it. I can't remember how many episodes we're getting in the season, but yeah, Moon Knight I'm very, very looking forward to. I'm always looking forward to some new Marvel content, as well as my Star Wars content and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for listening. I'm not sure the length of this episode or anything like that. Let me know if you like this sort of format where we do just have one guest on the episode and just ramble about something that that they're very excited for or whatever. But yeah, if you could please share the podcast, it would massively help us here at the All Things Geek podcast, just to kind of get the podcast shown about to other people and stuff. And yeah, I will be looking to collab with other podcasters and obviously get guests on and hopefully get invited onto other podcasts myself. Who knows? But yeah, that's been it for this episode. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.